The world is hurting right now, and it's time to rise up. As we lift ourselves up in body, mind, and spirit, we can reach out to others and be a light in a sea of darkness. Welcome to the Movement for Global Health with your host, Dr. Mary Zennett.
Our guest today is the owner of a company called Infinite Intelligence. Julie Perret is a certified neuro change practitioner and a transformation coach. We have so much to talk about, so I'm going to segue right into welcoming Julie Perret to our show today. Welcome, Julie.
Thank you, Mary. It's a pleasure to be here.
It is. And we had a delightful conversation before there was this recording, and we talked about several areas, and I want to make sure our audience pictures all those areas. First, infinite intelligence. We want to hear all about that. Communication and how it impacts relationships. And finances. Finances are such an important topic, but it'd be really interesting to hear how you're able to integrate and help your clients make progress in all those areas with this concept of infinite intelligence. So yeah, very exciting. So tell us, let's start by defining infinite intelligence.
Yeah, so name infinite intelligence came from we all have a unique being within us. So we are all connected through within to that infinite intelligence. To be able to express ourselves, to create life that we want to create, to have health in every area of life. I like to say to be healthy in every area of life, health with your finances, health with your health in your relationship. You need to know how to tap into that infinite intelligence, because it's infinite what you can create, but to be able to tap into that infinite intelligence, you need to understand your being. You need to understand the relationship you have with your aspects of being, which is your deeper human qualities, and with your moods. Because your moods are driving your actions, your behaviors. They determine what decisions you make, and they determine basically the health of your being.
Wow. And that all encompasses intelligence.
And that's intelligence. So there is no that someone is, a lot of people, I think the problem with our society that a lot of people believe that they are powerless victims. So they go into, I can't do anything about it because it's the government, or it's
exactly,
or it's my husband, or it's my wife, it's the doctor, whatever it is. And that's because simply they have this gap in authentic awareness, how to access that unique being, which is that's why the name is infinite intelligence. Because every one of us is very intelligent, unique being, which is very individual. It's like a fingerprint. So they are not the same.
Wow. But see, that's so important, because we are a monkey see, monkey do society. Is people see something on social media and then everybody's copying it. But that's violating to us, because as you said, we're as unique, each person as unique as a fingerprint.
Yeah, That's exactly, and that's what media knows how to do it. They understand how neuroscience works, how our brain works, so they're going to put advertising on TV. And when you watch TV, your brain by slow down, so you believe whatever they tell you.
Wow.
And if you do it every day, so then guess what? You are just becoming programmed. So you do not have access to the deeper qualities of human being, but you see, so that's why like our perception of reality is very often incongruent, inauthentic, because we all have perception of money, we have perception of relationship, we have perception of health, we have perception of even authenticity, but it's not congruent with reality. It's not really congruent with how things are. So we don't see things from deeper human qualities, but we see things from man-made constructs, which is very often television.
Wow. Once you understand that, it changes everything.
It changes everything, because like if you're going to talk about money is a man-made construct. So it can be questioned, it can be changed. No one is sucked into it, but a lot of people, they perceive that they're powerless and they are sucked into it. Again, it's inauthentic awareness. There is lack of authenticity in awareness.
Wow. Well, speaking of finance, what is a financial thermostat?
That's interesting. I took for myself to figure it out for quite a long time. And I'm just going to give an example. So basically, financial thermostat, it's your belief. It is your belief about your abilities, about your self-worth, and how you value yourself. And usually it's going to come from childhood. I mean, everything comes from childhood. And so each of us have a financial thermostat. So it's a certain amount of money you believe you are able to earn. It doesn't matter where you work. It doesn't matter what you do. If you're a business owner, if you are an employee, it doesn't matter. It's just like preset. And like example, my personal example. So I had a certain financial thermostat set up, and it wasn't high. It was really hard to meet the month's end. And so because I was very sick at the time, and health is my high value, so I went into debt. So spendings were high because I was trying to heal myself from outside. I didn't understand that I need to heal myself from inside. So I was trying different supplements. Spendings were high and I went into debt. Then I sold some shares because I had shares. So I sold some shares and I had a lot of money. Within the time, I went back into zero and exactly back on the same financial thermostat. Because I didn't change the belief about that financial thermostat. So it's really like, you will never go under it. So if some people are scared to start a business or whatever, the one thing to understand, you will never go under your financial thermostat. So if it's 50K a year, doesn't matter what happened, you will always get back to the 50K a year.
Wow.
So it doesn't matter, like, you will find a way how to find the money.
Exactly.
It's 50K a year, so you will never go under it. But also you will never go beyond it if you do not understand it and you don't understand how and what.
Exactly.
That's what I found for myself. That was like a dream. It was going from debt to a lot of money, back to zero, and back to the financial thermostat.
Wow.
And it was a big light bulb where
That is a big light bulb. And then how do you change it? Because you did it. How do you change that financial thermostat?
There is going to be a belief somewhere that you cannot do something, like things like who I am to talk about that, or who I am to teach that, because I didn't achieve my success yet in this area. Well, the thing is to catch that belief, and every belief losing its power when you start to question it, but like this sincere, authentic questioning it. Because if you think about it, a lot of high achievers, they started with zero. They didn't have any money. And they went to the high achievers.
Right.
So that's really their belief. So you don't need to have success. You need to be that authentic leader in your life. Then you start doing things and then you have the success. So it's really questioning, is that belief true or it's a perception? And this perception usually not going to be yours. It's going to be coming from somewhere, childhood experiences, relationships, like all of these things. So only that way you would be able to step forward despite being uncomfortable, despite your fears, being with the fear, being with uncomfort, and going ahead and taking risk, going ahead after what you want.
So people that are very successful, they have this high financial thermostat. So they know that when they, create their business or whatever, they know they're going to be this successful. They just know, and they're knowing.
It's like in your central nervous system, you just know. You just know that doesn't matter how many setbacks you're going to get, you will always going to be there. But that means that they have healthy. That's where it comes to the aspects of being, because I couldn't understand my financial thermostat after I understood the being framework. That's what I teach clients, and the aspects of being.
Right.
Because there's people, despite presence of fear, despite presence of uncertainty and unknown, they go into that unknown, they go into that uncertainty, but they have also healthy relationship with vulnerability, which a lot of people misunderstand and think it's a weakness, because this is not a weakness. So they are open about areas they are not competent about, so they can learn from them. They embrace their imperfections, because we are not competent in everything. I mean, I'm not competent in everything, but that's how no one is. So there is no point to put a wall, because if you put a wall, you shut yourself down. Then you won't take on opportunities, because you would be afraid that they will see your insecurities, your incompetence, and you will not going to be open to go from it. And that's how you keep yourself stuck in that financial thermostat. Because imagine if there is like a job opportunity for someone to go somewhere, and either they are going to be, we are talking about confidence. So some people are bravado, pretending to be, superhero, and some again on the other side can be very shy and not go for things. So that's two shadow sides of confidence.
Right.
So then you can, tell them whatever, got a job and fail at it, because you cover up your incompetencies. But if you're vulnerable, you're going to be confident because you know your abilities, you can do it, but at the same time you're open, that you need support in certain areas.
Wow. So let's talk about the issue of self-worth, self-confidence. If you have very low self-worth and you feel you should earn this amount of money, I'm just using finance as an example. How does the self-worth tie into that?
So from what I found for myself, in some way, somehow we've been conditioned to put our self-worth on money, on title, on the house I have, how many cars I have, like whatever. And that's understanding that you are not your money, you are not your bank account, you are not your house, that you are this unique being that has something to offer to the world.
Exactly.
That's where your self-worth, and it is going to go back to the childhood. There is going to be gaps in it all goes back to the child, but they say you don't need to stay there. We have the power, this understanding as a human beings. We have tremendous power, we have freedom to choose. But that comes responsibility. So you need to be responsible.
Absolutely.
So that's your responsibility, to be able to choose. Either you are choosing, and everyone is choosing anyway, either you're choosing to be a victim and complain and blame, or you are choosing to be a powerful leader in your life and just create life how you want it to be.
Be true to yourself.
Feel true to yourself. So that's authentic awareness. So it's like authenticity from ontological point of view. That's basically the being framework. So it doesn't mean that if you're authentic, you tell everything to everyone. You know, there's some moments that you don't disclose everything. But authenticity, it's mainly telling truth to yourself.
Yes.
Stop lying yourself.
Exactly. You don't have to convince anybody.
Tell yourself, like, I can't, this is not me. Oh, no, it's just the system, you know, instead of just stepping back and starting asking yourself questions.
That's right. That's right. Now that ties into the concept of assertiveness. Is I know they're connected, and peel that layer for us of how significant it is.
Well, assertiveness is a big one. It was a big one for me. And assertiveness is the heart of communication. Communication in your personal, lover, intimate relationships, communication in your business, because the heart of everything is relationships. And if you haven't been assertive in one of those relationships, you're not going to be assertive in anything else. So what assertiveness is not? Every time you are defensive, you are arrogant, you are sarcastic, or you are too nice, too agreeable, this is not assertiveness. Assertiveness is basically, it comes all to saying your authentic yes and your authentic no without emotional outbursts, without attachment to anything. In any circumstances, in any situations, you are free to say, you are free to express yourself without what others are going to think of you. You hear, you express your point of view, not by being pushy, trying to make someone to be a certain way, because you cannot anyway, but just expressing yourself. So it's firm, direct, upfront, decisive. You know your intentions, you know your worth, you clear. And then when you get into that middle life, which was assertiveness is, that energy, then whatever you're going to say, yes or no, even if they don't like it, they will know that you mean it.
Wow. Well, and as you were talking, I was thinking about it's so easy to be influenced by others. And then where's your true self in that? Is this one's telling you this one's telling you that, this one's is telling you how to think. And you were bombarded with these messages. And then where does that leave the authentic self? And how to reclaim our inner self? It's hard work.
It's not easy. I'm not going to say it's easy, but look, I am an ordinary woman and I did it. But it requires commitment. Exactly. It does require commitment and having a vision. A lot of people these days, they do not have a vision. If you don't have a vision, it's like you're blind, you're lost. You need to have that vision, and like what do you want to do in life? Like who do you want to be? Where do you want to be in 5 years, 10 years? I had this thing that I always, even when I was still working back in corporate a few years ago, I always had the vision, okay, so, I don't see myself in 10 years. Where do I want to be? Who do I want to be? A lot of people, they're very short-sighted. And if you look only 1 year ahead how to go on holiday somewhere on the beach, then obviously you are not going to go far. And in your personal relationships, assertiveness is so important, because if you are not able to step up and demand assertively respect, the other half is not going to respect you.
Yes, exactly.
If you're going to do it aggressively, I did it. That's why my marriage failed, but it was unhealthy anyway. But I was too nice at the beginning, and then I figured out being too nice is not working, so then I became aggressive.
Right. And I think that's not uncommon. You start out being very nice, and as women, our natures are we're very nice, we're caring, we're nurturing, but then there's a limit.
There is a limit, and then you become aggressive because you don't know how to be assertive, you don't know how to step up and say you're authentic, yes, you're authentic, no, demand the request, and request commitment, request response.
Right, exactly.
So I didn't know how to. I know it now, and my life became so much easier, even in setting boundaries, and doing everything assertively becomes like you are in flow. And that's like you said, we need to. It's working from within, because if you're going to be influenced too much with what others say, this said, and the TV said, and this said, and this said, and you don't go inside and listen to what you intuitively know, you will be just manipulated all the time.
Exactly.
You'll be the victim of the circumstances.
Yeah, you're like a puppet, and the string.
Like a puppet.
Yeah. And you're getting the commands, and you're moving, and you're not true to yourself.
That's it. And a lot of people, I think, they do realize it, because you do hear sometimes people saying, "Oh, I knew it. I knew it, but well, I didn't act on it because I was telling lies to myself. I wasn't authentic with myself."
Exactly.
So that's why authenticity, like in ontology, we call it exposure triangle, and that's authenticity, that's vulnerability, and awareness. It all starts with awareness, because if you're not fully aware, then we are sleepwalking. And then it's authenticity and vulnerability, because it requires vulnerability to be authentic with yourself. You need to be open.
Exactly. And that's when they say the light bulb goes on. That's the first step. The light bulb has to go on, but then you need to examine and study and really, really dive deep.
You need to dive deep, yeah. And that requires commitment. Like I just had a call with someone yesterday, and that person said, yeah, I know I can't commit. And a lot of people, I see that a lot of people cannot commit. Yes. And that's that you need to commit. If you want to achieve something, you need to commit, otherwise you're going to be wavering in and out of your life, and then just blaming and complaining, waiting for something outside of you to happen. So then it comes as well understanding that thinking paradigm, and that is going to tie it into your financial thermostat. Exactly. So the thinking paradigm we adopted through the years is, I need to have something, money, whatever, then I can do, and then I can be happy. Which is, it's exactly the reverse. First, I am being that leader, that authentic person in my life, that I'm going to do what needs to be done, and then I'm going to have what I want to have. So it's focusing on being integrous. And integrity, I refer to integrity, not some moral act like being on time at work, but integrity with your aspects of being, which again comes to authenticity. It comes to vulnerability.
Exactly. Again, it goes back to being true to yourself.
Yeah, it all goes back. Because if you're going to be true to yourself, you'll connect to your self-worth.
That's right. But until you're aware, you can't, you're going through the motions.
Yeah, that's the moods, is understanding the moods. Like in ontological model, we classify moods on 4 main moods, and it's fear, anxiety, care, and vulnerability. So it's basically your relation, how you relate, for example, to fear. Can you be with fear and still go ahead and do what you want to do, or you are letting your fear to suppress your unique being?
Wow. And I would imagine a lot of people are driven by fear.
It's all good, and it's all the fear. And under fear, there's always going to be guilt and shame.
Exactly.
That's a guilt and shame. And it basically goes to one of the primary aspects of being. It's forgiveness. And it's forgiveness, not like a moral act. I need to forgive that person because it's a good thing to do, because they taught me that at school. But it's forgiveness, not a logical process. It's forgiveness because you want to free yourself.
Right, exactly.
But it's also forgiveness here, that person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is like something for me was a big one. It's forgiving myself, because everything we've done in the past, and I've been talking recently to someone, and that person is still holding some shame to what is right and what is wrong,
Mm-hmm.
what that person has done in their 20s.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's understanding that whatever you did in the past, you did this level of conscious awareness you had, and you would have done it anyway.
Yep, exactly.
So there is no right or wrong. So in ontology, we are not classifying that something is right or something is wrong. It's just what it is, because it is what it is.
Right, right.
You know, it's like what happened, you can't change it, and you would do it anyway. So if you continue doing the same thing over and over again, then it's something different. But once you say what is, you understand who you have been, and you have been doing what you've been doing, then you can change it, you can shift that.
Exactly.
Forgiving yourself, because it's your shadow side, and we all have shadow side. We all have them.
Talk about that for a minute. Define that for our audience, because some may have not heard the term, the shadow self, the shadow side.
So we all have, so basically the shadow side is like, let's say, the shadow side of vulnerability. So the shadow side of vulnerability is going to be, I am going to create a safe boundaries around myself so that no one can get in, and I'm going to stay in my known comfortable environment. That's a shadow side. Not being able to be taking criticism personally.
Right.
That is going to be the shadow side. For example, not being, not having capabilities. I don't know, let's say you work somewhere and you don't have enough knowledge, let's say just accounting, and you don't have enough knowledge in taxes or something. So, and there might be position offering you want to do it. So this is your shadow side. If you're not vulnerable about it, this is going to be your shadow side. So your shadow side is not lack of knowledge, because you can learn it, but your shadow side that you're not open about.
If you're not open,
you try to hide it.
Right. You try to hide it.
You try to hide it, and then you try to control. So as I said, you try to control and manipulate to get what you want a different way. Yeah, so that's not being open. That's not being authentic with yourself.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. It is. It's all really fascinating.
So, and understanding that, it's like understanding, you know, what is your shadow side, and when you are. So that's why it's like a healthy relationship with your aspects of being. Because each aspect of being is it's like even confidence, you know, the shadow side of confidence is going to be bravado. It's going to be pretending, you know, I can do whatever.
That's right.
So that would be a shadow side. So that's understanding that, and then catching yourself, because it's not like, you know, you're going to be perfect all the time, but it's more like being able to catch it. Like anxiety is going to be
catching yourself. It's so important.
Catching yourself and bringing you back to present moment, to now.
Exactly.
Because anxiety is going to be a shadow side as well, like what happened just to me recently. Because I do, as a business owner, and I'm a single mom, I do go through uncertainties all the time. And all of a sudden, it was like in my head, oh, what if that goes wrong? And what if that goes wrong? You know, and what is this? And I was just like, oh, okay, you know, let's just stop. Because I have the power to choose. You know, if something goes wrong, I am resourceful and I will figure it out. But that's basically...
You caught yourself consciously.
Yeah, consciously. That's basically catching yourself, because if you don't, it runs you there all the time. And the shadow side of resourcefulness, for example, a lot of people misunderstand resourcefulness. I did it. I didn't understand what resourcefulness is. they think they need to have resources, which studying high achievers, that's the ontological model that I'm working with, all the high achievers, they're going to say, you need to be resourceful, not necessarily having resources. So again, like
resourceful, you pull from within on your own internal, right? Your characteristics, your traits, and you
that's
create
your being. Yeah, that's your
exactly.
being. And then at the beginning, maybe you need to tap into other people's resources before you have resources. That's how it all works. And that comes to contribution. So the shadow side, for example, of primary ways of being as contribution, that's what I had. I wasn't allowing people to contribute to me for a long time.
Wow.
Because I thought that I can do it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And that was coming from my relationship in my unhealthy marriage. Mm-hmm. Because as I've been shut down, then I understood, okay, I'm on my own, I'll do it myself. I don't need anyone, which is a shadow side. We all need one another.
Exactly.
And it's being able to contribute and also let others to contribute to you. And that's where gratitude comes in. So you're feeling grateful that someone is contributing to you, allowing. So that's all of this shadow side of it. Wow. There is like 31 aspects of being.
Wow. 31 aspects of being.
Of being. Yeah. That's the higher.
That's incredible.
And that's
incredible.
And that understanding them, it's like having a model. Because I found in myself that as a neuro change practitioner, I've been doing a lot of work and doing meditations and all of these things. And it's good because it puts you, it centers you, it puts you in a certain way of being. But if you don't have a model, if you don't understand your ways of being, it doesn't matter what meditations you do, you're going to get up and you're going to get back to your old self.
Oh, that's the risk.
And so that's basically, so when people do meditations or whatever, I've been actually talking to someone recently, but then they get up and basically nothing is changing and they don't understand their ways of being, their behavior, they just revert back. So with each meditation you do, you need to have a model of being. You need to know who and how do you want to be today in relationship with yourself and then with everyone. In a relationship with money. It's like going back to money as well. If you do not know how to be in control of your emotions, you're not going to be in control of money. Money is going to have control of you because you're going to be spending on things you don't need. And I went through it myself. We actually spend much more than we need to spend.
Exactly.
Because we see this nice ad and we see that and we say, oh, I need that because that is going to help me, which is not understanding that it's just commercials they want to sell, but everything you need is already here inside.
Exactly.
That's what you need.
And that the money doesn't fulfill you, it's you are fulfilled from within.
Yes. Yeah. And that's why, like, even like talking about financial thermostat, you can see that people who win lotto, quite a lot of them actually, they win lotto, and then within a year or two, they're back to their financial thermostat.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter how much money they have, they're going to be back.
Wow.
So it is never, this is why this is never about money. It's nothing to do with anything. It's just a tool. Just a tool that provides you here in our 3D reality to enjoy things, to do what we want to do because we need money. If we want to have, decent house and healthy food, we need money for that. But it's never about the money.
Right.
And it's all like, in reverse because we've been conditioned this way, we've been wired this way. And it's, that's all that, like in ontology, we talk about 3 layers of reality. And that's basically where authentic awareness is coming from. The first layer of reality is universe or absolute. So you need to understand this layer of reality, like law of gravity. you're not going to try to fly from the roof because you know that you will die.
Exactly.
Authentic awareness. So then the second layer of reality, that's basically our government and all this man-made constructs like money. So that you need to understand that money is a man-made, yeah, and you don't need to be sucked into that reality. You can influence the outcome that you want. And then the third layer of reality, that's basically reality you create in your head. That's the stories you tell to yourself about yourself. That's your beliefs and opinions.
Wow, this is so interesting and so significant. Help our audience understand if they want to learn more. Where do they learn? Where can they learn?
So what they can learn, where can they start? There is a really good book written by Ashkan Tashwir, and it's a human being book. It's like about 300 pages. For someone who really likes reading, there is another book, and it's Being the Source of Power. So this is there is 700 pages. It's a big book, but I love reading it. And that's my Bible. So do not, if you want to learn something, stop listening to TV and go and do some research. Buy this book so you can understand your primary ways of being, your relationship with your moods. You can understand your human being. And you can also have a look on beingprofile.com, and that's basically how I work with clients using that model so they can break through and achieve whatever they want to achieve in life. But without understanding and learning, it's just not possible. So it does require commitment, it does require time. But I think it's important for people to ask themselves question, what is it costing me now not to take responsibility for that part of my life and keep complaining and blaming? And what would be possible if I will take responsibility? What would be then be possible? And there is no shortcut. But I know one thing that, it doesn't matter if you want to start a business or you want to heal, like whatever you want to do, you need to ask yourself, okay, if you're going to talk about health, if I'm going to take that drug, and I probably will have to take after that drug, another drug, and then another drug. So what is it costing? How I'm going to be in 10 years? What is going to happen to me in 10 years' time if I'm going to keep taking the drugs? Or I'm going to make a decision to learn about myself, to study my ways of being. And it might take me, I don't know, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. But if I do that, where I'm going to be in 10 years? That's the question I was asking myself when I was very sick.
Wow.
And I never allowed to take any drugs. I actually have nocebo effect. Like you have people with placebo effect. So I have nocebo effect. As soon as I see the thing, I already feel all the side effects.
Wow. Wow.
So
and they talk about that, the placebo effect. Absolutely. Absolutely.
The placebo, placebo is big now, it's just like, everyone knows. And I think with everything as well, like a lot of people these days, because they are looking for quick fix.
Exactly.
So they see, that shiny thing, and they see only the upsides to it. So they are not conscious aware of the downside, which everything has upside and downside. Everything has both sides, doesn't matter what it is. And now when you center it, now you know. And now you can make clear decisions. So you are not making decisions by your emotions, polarized by fear, anxiety, and then, too excited because it's so shiny.
Well, and that's so significant. I mean, so much today is driven by emotions.
And that's what they do in the advertising. They know how to trigger your emotions. I mean, that's how advertising is made.
Exactly.
But again, you know, you can choose. You are not a powerless victim of your circumstances. You actually create your experience. The circumstances, they are what they are. They're always changeable. They will change. But your experience, you're in charge of that.
That's right.
And I think it's like people don't, because again, it's emotional state, being uncomfortable.
Exactly.
That requires you a lot of time being uncomfortable, having uncomfortable relations, and being okay if you do not get what you want right away. Understanding that you are influencing the outcome.
Exactly.
Then you are getting in flow with life.
And getting outside our comfort zone. That is so critical. But who wants to do that?
That's the human problem. That's the problem of all society. They just going to stay comfortable, even if they're not happy. They're going to stay in this unhealthy relationships because they are comfortable there. And then they're going to say, I can't do it because I have kids. I'm going to wait until they go to college or they go to university. I've got mortgage to pay. So, which is like everyone has opportunity and a choice. You just need to trust it.
Right.
Because I was talking myself out like that for years. It was like, I can't do that because, you know, my daughter is now dead. I can't do that because how I'm going to pay the marriage. I can't do that because, you know, I'm going to be a single mom. How I'm going to do it. And I can tell you that everything is possible.
Wow.
Because
and that was your path to wellness. I mean, you healed.
That's your path to wellness, because the environment you stay in is very important. Either it's work, either it's relationship. If your environment is not empowering you, it's not inspiring you, it's not supportive of you, you will be dying. And you are choosing it for yourself. And then, you know, why people end up when they are in their 70s with Alzheimer and all of these things. It's all to do with, you know, the lack of dopamine in the brain. Where dopamine is coming, that's your level of happiness, it's your level of gratitude. And there has been a lot of scientific and psychological studies. There is enough evidence.
Oh, there's no question. There's no question.
You know, there's no question anymore. I think everyone knows that, but again, it's too scary. And they tell, oh, they can do it, but I can't. They have something special, but I don't. And honestly, I was telling that to myself, and this is just not true.
Wow.
Because we all have that unique being in just understanding how to tap into them, how to remove all of this, peeling the onion, you know, and letting go. Because when you let go, there is opportunities and possibilities. And then being present to these possibilities, because they do require to take risk. And that's where confidence comes in, because confidence starts with trusting yourself. If you don't trust yourself, how others will trust you?
Right. That's exactly right.
That's like, you know.
So you help people through this process?
Yeah, I support people. Like, I can't transform them myself, but I support them in transformational journey. I support them each step of the way, but they need to do the work. I can't do the work for them. So they need to do the work.
Right. So do you have classes, or is it coaching, or what?
So it's one-on-one. At the moment, it's one-on-one coaching. So I usually do with people first using the ontological model. So I do with people debrief. So they're kind of getting a picture, exactly a picture where they are at, right? So once they have this awareness of where they are at, they can move towards their future them and start to see things from their deeper human qualities, from authentic view. And then we are working on bringing that being into aliveness.
Wow.
And that's where, you know, like the energy levels I just had yesterday, someone told me this, that person is just like, I'm tired. All I want to do is just, you know, sleep, and I'm just so tired. And that's why the ontological approach and the being profile, it's not, there is a lot of psychological tools and a lot of people done different things. And I think there is a one thing called HSP, is highly sensitive personality or something like that. And this is a myth, because so I am very highly sensitive. I do sense energies, and I used to get very tired. I used to get very tired if I had confrontations, if I was in a large group of people. I used to get like exhausted, and I'm not anymore. And this comes again, if you become your true authentic self, and you are not preoccupied what you need to say to that person and what you need to reply to that person if they ask you that, you are just true your authentic self.
Wow.
Then all of a sudden you draw this energy, you draw it from inside, you have that energy, because everything that occupies time and space in our mind, all of this, you know, inauthenticities and lies, it takes energy. It takes energy from us. It drains us.
Absolutely. Wow.
So this is why, like, it's so important to understand. So majority of people drag themselves from bed, and it's because like their body is saying, "Oh yeah, nothing exciting is going to happen today. It's going to be like, you know, every day." But once you tap into that unique being, it's like something wakes up in you. It's like it's like something wakes up in you, and doesn't matter. It's like nothing really changes outside of you, but something wakes up in you, and you have this energy to create.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And that's something innate in us. You know, it's something like the humans that we do have that.
Yes.
It's dreaming there, because we are captivated by our fears and anxieties and lack of vulnerability, lack of care, because if there is lack of vulnerability, there is going to be lack of care. The shadow side of care, it's like when you stop caring, you numb yourself. Like I numb myself for a long time, because I saw that if I numb myself, I'm not going to feel anything, but I'm going to be safe.
Right, exactly.
Well, no, because I got very sick because I numbed myself.
You did, yeah, you did.
So that's how all my disease that I had appeared, and they were not genetic. No one in my family had them. So all of this genetic thing is myth as well.
Yeah.
And there is scientific evidence about that as well. There's only 2% of disease are genetic.
Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah.
Wow. But it's like the spirit within you that ignites.
The spirit within you, yeah. So your unique being, it's either we refer to it, your soul, your higher self, your spirit, you know, that's that. And that basically having this authentic awareness is the first layer of reality. That there is existence beyond our existence.
Exactly.
And there is like something, you know, everything is growing, and sun is coming and going down and coming up. So no one controls it. There is a higher power.
Exactly.
And we all have it inside. We are all connected to it if we choose to.
If you're open to it.
If you're open to it, yeah. If you choose to be receptive, then you will also see all the messages, because messages are everywhere. Now there is heaps of messages in this podcast. And it's a question how many people are going to be receptive of that message.
Exactly. Well, this is absolutely fascinating. Julie, where can our listeners read more about you, learn more about you, and possibly even reach out to you?
Yeah, so I am on LinkedIn. I work solely on LinkedIn. So there is say Julie Perret, LinkedIn.com. I can put the link.
Yeah, we'll connect you. We'll connect that link.
So I basically am on LinkedIn. There is also a website that they can book a call. through the website, they can write me email, julie@infiniteintelligence.coach.
That's
And
exciting.
they can have a look at the bean profile, so they can see it's beanprofile.com, so they can see what we are doing and how it's helping people. And yeah, I would love to hear from someone from your community.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. We'll have those links at the bottom of the show.
Yeah, cool. That's great. Yeah, that's the places you can find me. Yeah, it's LinkedIn and my email through my website.
Wonderful. Okay, any final words?
Any final words? I just want really for everyone who's listening to this podcast to ask themselves a question. How and who do I want to be today? How do I want to be today with myself, with my boss, with my kids? Where do I want to be, in 5 years?
Wow, and it's a great time to ask.
And it's a great time to ask. And like every night, before you go to bed, just sit down for 5-10 minutes, doesn't require a long time, and ask yourself how I have been today.
Yes.
Not to shame or blame yourself, but just to observe, so tomorrow you can be better. And forgive yourself. Don't forget to forgive yourself and your shadow sides, because that's the only way you're going to grow. You cannot grow and polish your shadow side if you're not open.
Words of wisdom. Truly, words of wisdom. So, Julie, thank you so much. This has been wonderful. And there's a lot of content here. So I know our listeners are going to go back and watch this, numerous times to soak it in.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to your audience.
Wonderful. We really appreciate it. So, all right. Well, we'll close, and Julie, we'll stay in touch, and hope our listeners will reach out to you as well. All right. Wonderful work you're doing.
Thank you, Mary. Have a good day.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.